Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here and to follow those robust presentations. Next slide. Our main affiliate partners in the U.S. are the American Society of Addiction Medicine and the American Academy of Addiction Psychiatry, two large organizations. Our big accomplishment of this year includes a special interest group in both ASAM and AAAP that were started this year by Dr. Bunt and myself. In ASAM, we had our first virtual meeting this January, and our next meeting will be at ASAM in Dallas in April. We have 16 confirmed members, and we have solicited 40 other members to join us. Next slide, please. In AAAP, American Academy of Addiction Psychiatry, we also started the special interest group in international addiction topics. We had our first meeting in December in San Diego, and 16 members attended. We have our next meeting scheduled for April, I believe. And we are collaborating with, there is an international district group in AAAP, and we will be collaborating with them. Next slide. Our main collaboration is going to be having a series of webinars that we're in the process of planning now. They'll be jointly sponsored by both organizations. These are webinars on topics in international addictions. We're working on our first webinar, which will be international networking to include a number of people here. And these are some of the other webinar topics that we plan: international approaches to OUD, including countries where agonist treatment is not allowed, PTSD in war or natural disaster and how that affects substance use, public policy and harm reduction models, culture and diversity, dual diagnosis, and of course, behavioral addictions, which is a big contribution of the international community. Next slide, please. We have a number of presentations that are going to be both in the US and abroad. In December, at the AAAP annual conference, Mark Potenza led a symposium on behavioral addictions. We were very proud of that symposium in that it was a slot designated for ISAM. AAAP has now agreed to designate a slide, not every year, but from time to time, not a slide, a slot for International Society of Addiction Medicine presentation. And last year it was on behavioral addictions. In Dallas coming up at the ASAM meeting in April, we're going to have a presentation on addiction medicine and incarceration settings around the world. Hamid, thank you very much for leading that charge, those two submissions to ASAM. This was the one that was accepted. We're very excited about that in Dallas coming up. Next slide. More international presentations in the US coming up in May at the American Psychiatric Association meeting. Kathleen Brady and Mark Potenza and Dr. Bond, Greg, and Petros Lavunas will be talking about international addiction medicine. At the ATOD meeting in May in Las Vegas, that's the American Association for Treatment of Opioid Dependence, Greg Bunt and Ikra Maramani will be talking about cannabis and pregnancy. And then
just to correct you on that, Carol, we're talking about, I'm giving a presentation on cannabis and pregnancy, but Ikra is talking about MOTA with me, the opiate proposal in the United States.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that correction. Okay. And then we are submitting an application for the AAAP meeting in Florida in November on international harm reduction and public policy models. That submission is being prepared as we speak. Next slide, please. Then we have had a number of US presentations in international contexts. So I presented at EMCDD in Lisbon on PTSD, SUD. We have a presentation coming up in Montreal at NIDA International. Oh, I didn't note what that presentation was. Greg, I don't know if you know what that one is.
That's on public policy and from an international perspective on addiction medicine.
Okay, thank you very much.
And Hamed's going to be joining us on that one.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then coming up in Istanbul, we are submitting 2 applications on PTSD SUD. That's not just America. We're going to have Shalini is contributing to that, as are some other presenters from Europe. The Lisbon conference, Hamed and I have both submitted applications on a dual diagnosis. And I believe those were accepted, but I don't know for sure. And then Greg submitted an application for the World Congress of Psychiatry in Mexico City.
That was that was submitted by Hugo, and you'll hear from Hugo. But I'm on that panel for the submission.
Okay. Thanks for those corrections. And looking to the future, we are hoping to have a one-day summit in the US and Caribbean with international presenters. That's our big goal and project. We continue to work on the ISMGen PTSD SUD work group survey, along with Oceania and other countries and continents. And we will continue to submit proposals to ASAM and AAAP about international topics.